One. Welcome to OState Daily. Casey Porter here the day after Oklahoma State makes one of its biggest hires it ever has. Who you're seeing on the screen here, one of the greatest kickers in the history of Oklahoma State football. You remember him waving the rowdy towel and doing all that. Kevin Godfrey joins. Kevin, how the hell are you? It's great to see your face again. Of course, you know, you were in my childhood. I grew up going to Ponca to your baseball games, and it's like I said earlier, it's always great when we can both get on because it means we're both on the right side of the daisies, right?
That's correct. That is correct. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Yeah, you too, my brother. Hey, so kind of take us through. I know we had communicated several different times, and you had different information at different times from different people about the different parts of the search. Never wanted anything really to go surface side, if you will. So kind of take us through your idea of the process here and how we came up on, I'm going to say, I know I'm going to say Chad Morris a million different times because Chad Morris was a hot topic about 10 years ago. Chad Weiberg being the AD and then Eric Morris being the coach. If I say Chad Morris, please excuse me there. The process of ending on Eric Morris.
Eric Morris, I think that's I've heard a home run hire thrown around a couple times this morning. You know, you can talk to people in Nebraska and they'll say there's no such thing as a home run hire, but I'm very happy with the decision that Chad came to, and I'm anxious to see how things get started.
100%. So what happens that you know football as well as anybody. I mean, you're at the highest levels of it. So what about Eric Morris excites you the most in terms of what he can do at Oklahoma State?
Oh, good Lord, he's got the best offense in the country, Casey. Yes. How can that not excite anybody? 46 points a game, and you know I don't want to put the horse before the cart, but he's got some players that probably will follow him up here that will really make the fan base appreciate him.
Yeah, for my former player, in the group, as far as all the older players that played here and they laid the foundation for this. What's the kind of the talk with them today?
You know, I'll be honest, I have not heard from any of them. I'm sure I will throughout the day. But as of right now, I have not talked to anybody either last night or this morning.
Hey, I saw on your Facebook that you had a chance to catch up with Ernest Anderson a while back. And when we say a while back could have meant a year or two ago. But I saw a picture or two with you.
Last Bedlam game.
Yeah, cool, man. So kind of give us an update on that, dude. Ernest Anderson's awesome.
Oh, he's a great man, and he was an awesome teammate. And I think I'm pretty sure he's still down in the, the Orange, Beaumont area, Golden Triangle down there in Southeast Texas. And I heard at one time that he was a man of the cloth now, a preacher man. I can't, nice. I'm not sure of that at all, but that's the story that I understand.
Absolutely.
Great man.
Absolutely.
In
okay.
1982 when he led the country in rushing, what a great season that was.
So you played for Jimmy Johnson, okay, and those were the times to where Oklahoma State we were begging for any kind of national exposure. We were begging for any kind of just any kind of sustained success. So when Chad Weiberg got up in the initial start of this after they got rid of Coach Gundy, when he got up there and he said, "Hey, this is not the 1980s Oklahoma State," how did that make you feel?
Well, I really can't argue with him much. I'll tell you, the defenses that we put on the field back in those early 80s, they could match up with anybody that Coach Gundy put out on the field for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So your expectations for Coach Morris, how fast do you expect him to get things turned around? And what are the kind of my point to what I think the point of what Chad was saying is with the resources we have now, the resources are so different. What's the ceiling for this program now?
Well, I hope he follows the same path that Signetti did at Indiana. Yeah. I mean, that didn't take long at all. I mean, almost overnight. As an Oklahoma State person and an ex-player, I'd like to see something along those lines.
Yeah. And in terms of going and getting an Eric Morris type guy, this is a guy that's lighting college football up offensively. And so he was heavily coveted. Arkansas, I'm sure there were some other schools that we haven't heard about that would have loved to have him. There were so many job openings. It's very impressive that Oklahoma State was able to put together a package to go get Eric Morris and land him in front of all these other schools. I think that's part of the process that I'm maybe the most excited about this morning.
I agree with you. I did not expect I didn't expect an announcement for maybe a couple more weeks. I know that Chad had said after the Iowa State game this weekend, but I really thought it'd be a couple more weeks till we heard something definite. Now, when does the portal open? January 2nd?
Yeah, in January, yeah. So you had some time in terms of the portal. You were going to lose some recruiting time, though, and he's already on the recruiting trail.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I saw that he's already after a linebacker out of Carthage, Texas, which makes me feel good. You talk about hit the ground running, and that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, that's what made so much sense to me. You're in Canton, Ohio right now. First of all, let me ask you this. What is the reputation for Oklahoma State in a place like Canton, Ohio? Like whenever the name Oklahoma State or you wear a Oklahoma State shirt out to maybe the Walmart or whatever, what's the reaction to Oklahoma State?
Really not one. If you're asking me if we're a national brand, no, we're not.
Yeah, which makes it very impressive that Chad was able to do this. And I kind of say that to say, so there needs to be a fit regionally to this. I think what made the most amount of sense between, like the reason why I think an Alex Golesh didn't really make a whole lot of sense was the fact that he had 0 Oklahoma kids on his team. He only had 2 Texas kids on his team, one being from Houston, of which now really isn't a recruiting hotbed. A couple from Arkansas, but other than that, it's places that are way away from here we're not going to recruit to. So just the fit of Eric Morris, knowing all the high school football coaches, he was a high school coach, having all those recruiting in ties. We've already seen them come to at least to an offer as far as his connections. So it just made either him or Colin Klein. It just made so much sense with the ties to this region that it had to be one of those two. Yeah,
I agree. And I was in Klein's backyard for a long time. I thought that's who we should have gone after. Yeah. I'll be honest, my mind has been swayed. And I feel real good about the selection that was finally made. But for the longest time, I wanted Colin Klein. Like you had said, the relationship he has with high school coaches throughout Northeast and North Central Texas.
Yeah. Do you feel bad for like a Cooper Bassett who went to Oklahoma State, really honestly did a pretty darn good job with the offensive line? And,
so let's don't feel too bad for him yet. We don't know what's going to happen with that staff.
Let's dive into that. Let's dive into that. I
hope they all at least are given the courtesy of an interview.
Yeah. So of the current coaches, you've been in this, you've seen this game, you've seen the business side of it. You know all about the playing side, the coaching side, the business side. If you're Eric Morris, who, just knowing what you've seen from Oklahoma State this year, which coaches would you retain?
Maybe Bowen.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the in the position he's in right now, but I think he showed he can coach. Defensive line coach, probably. Now I'm not sure of his name, but
Osborne, yeah.
Osborne, is that his name? Yeah. So he's obviously done some good things. Those two would probably stick out to me as two that would be given ample opportunity to make a play.
Yeah. I can tell you this, Greg Richmond, when he went to Oklahoma City Douglas and Guthrie was a huge rivalry back then, and Guthrie was just then starting to build the excellent program that we've had now for about close to 25 years with multiple state titles and that kind of deal. And I can tell you, even back then, like whenever we beat Carl Albert for the first time in 2002, the one team we could never beat was Oklahoma City Douglas. And I can remember Greg Richmond playing quarterback. Greg Richmond was a quarterback, and they were actually in the wishbone and running triple option like OU did back then. And I can remember him running up and down the field on Guthrie all night long. So it's kind of exciting that it looks like Greg Richmond's going to be coming back home.
It does. It does appear that way. Absolutely. I did catch that this morning.
Yeah. So talk about that and the exciting part of, at least, that ties into the regional ties and the fit part of things. Talk about how exciting that is to bring some of the former Oklahoma State players back that can really, for all the, maybe if there's a coach or two that doesn't quite understand the culture of not just OSU Stillwater, a guy like Greg Richmond can fill all the holes in for them.
Absolutely, he can. Absolutely. I think, if you get an opportunity to do that, that's a great thing. Absolutely. Yeah. I would like to see as many as possible. And like I say, at least be given an opportunity to interview.
Yeah. So we talk about the culture of areas. What makes Oklahoma State, what makes a person who, like, you grew up in Ponca, an Oklahoma State fan. I grew up in Stillwater, absolute diehard. It was obvious if you were, you were a walk-on, right? Is that correct?
I was.
Yeah. So, obviously being at Oklahoma State was something that you just grew up with. But for all the other people, of course, you're in Canton, Ohio, so you get to see the other aspect of it. For all the other people that didn't grow up in Stillwater or didn't grow up an OSU fan that was just destined to go there to begin with, what does Oklahoma State have to sell right now that would put them back on top of the Big 12 and land them in a position to be almost a slam dunk in the final round of alignment, in your opinion?
Well, I think one trip to Stillwater on a game day Saturday would sell almost anybody if you're talking about recruits coming in.
Yeah.
I think that the game day atmosphere in Stillwater is ranked up there with anybody in the country. Now, I know there are a lot of places proud of their tailgates and proud of their pregame activities. I get that, and I understand that, and I agree with that. But ours is second to none, in my opinion. Game day in Stillwater, Oklahoma is unbelievable.
How much has it changed since you? I mean, when you were a player, I went to every game, and hey, the games were fun, no doubt. And there were times where Lewis Field was filled up. It was. I mean, it wasn't empty every single game in the 1980s. But how much different is it now than it was then?
Oh, completely. It's I look down from my seats in Boone Pickens, and I think, how did we ever play on that rusty old Rust-Oleum Lewis Field Stadium that they had us in? Yeah, it's changed 100%, 150%.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'll tell you another thing about the fit part of it is Oklahoma State fans, of course, an Oklahoma State fan to me that grew up, the 80s were my sweet spot in terms of my childhood. I was born in 1973. I've been on this earth for 52 years now. So whenever I think Oklahoma State identity, I tend to go back to the 80s because that was my childhood. And the early 80s especially was defense, right? But then you had Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas, Mike Gundy, Hartley Dykes, all those guys. And then Gerald Hudson, who led the nation in rushing the year after Barry Sanders left. I don't know if it was the year after 1991, one of the two. So you could debate whether for older people defense was the identity for OSU, but I think that's squarely from 1988 on. Offense has been the identity, and especially for the younger generation, it's the air raid. It's the throw the ball. It's the Brandon Whedon to Justin Blackman. It's the Darius Bowman. It's the Tylan Wallace. It's the James Washington. It's that offense. Even back to the Zach Robinson, which is a little bit more of a read option type, RPO type offense. But I think the part of the fit, the exciting part of the fit, is that we're going back to what I think Oklahoma State fans feel like is our identity as a program with Eric Morris.
We're used to winning games 45-42.
Yes, and we're fine with that.
I mean, it comes down to that. The Jimmy Johnson years of what was the Nebraska game, 14-10 in '83, I think, 14-10. OU game was 21-20. I mean, those days are long gone in Stillwater.
Yeah,
we have to put an offensive show on every Saturday to stay relevant, in my opinion. That's what we're used to. That's what sells Oklahoma State football.
And I tell you what gets fan bases excited. There's a couple obviously winning. I mean, if you win, you can play any style you want. You
Absolutely.
can play 3 yards in a cloud of dust. As long as you're winning, nobody's going to care. That's going to take care of the excitement itself. But to kind of hedge your bets, I think there's two things that a place like Oklahoma State has to do to create excitement for its program. One is you have to be fun. Your brand of football has to be very fun to watch. Like in basketball, Eddie Sutton created the defensive mentality. And believe it or not, Oklahoma State fans in basketball love to watch great lockdown defense on the basketball court. That's fun for them, right? In football, fun I think for most fans is we're throwing the ball, it's high flying, and we're never out of a game because we can score a million different points. That basketball on grass that Mike Gundy installed at Oklahoma State, that's, I think, what a fun brand for Oklahoma State fans. And then also, number two, Kevin, you got to win your games at home, man. I think for any coach to really sell Oklahoma State fans on anything, you got to win your games at home. I think those are the first two objectives for Eric Morris. Install a fun brand of football again, and then start winning your games at home. Like even in the early 2000s when Mike Gundy wasn't great, we would beat Texas Tech, who came in like ranked number 12 in the country, at home. Now, we would never win road games, but we would beat those teams at home, like Colorado in 1997, that kind of deal.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. And Coach Morris knows that. He knows what's expected of him. Any head coach knows you've got to win your home games. That keeps the fan interest up. That keeps fannies in the seats. And it just opens up a whole lot of more avenues that you can combat when you're winning your home games. That might allow you to slip up once on the road or something.
Yeah.
along those lines. You hope not, but you've got to win your home games. You know, even more on top of that, you got to win homecoming.
Yeah, you definitely. Well, I think the homecoming game this year was presentable enough. I think I'll say this: I'm very proud of Oklahoma State fans. They knew the remainder of this year was going to suck. They knew it just was not. There was just no way it wasn't going to suck. I really feel like Oklahoma State fans stayed very mature through this. Like they didn't say, "Well, this is going to suck. What's in it for me? This is going to be a crappy experience for me." I really feel like Oklahoma State fans said, "You know what? This is a moment to where the university needs me worse than they ever do."
Right.
And because of that, I'm going to go whether it's fun for me or not. I just, maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm too strong on that. But my pride in the fans with that today is, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry. Like we said, game day atmosphere in Stillwater second to none. You can have fun if you are 1-10. The food's going to be good. The pageantry, the colors, it's all still going to be there. Oklahoma State fans have proved that through the years. And you go back to when I played. Sure, there were some Saturdays that the stadium wasn't as full as we wanted it to be, but there were plenty of Saturdays it was full up.
Yep. Yeah. And this Saturday, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of people there. That's fine. Hey, that's fine.
Which is disappointing. It's senior day, and I know a lot of those kids haven't been here all 4 or 5 years, but some have, and it would be nice to see people show up and give them the kind of send off that they deserve.
I think I heard Robert Allen say that there's a grand total of 8 players that have been here at least 2 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I saw the list at 27 yesterday, and some of them I didn't even know.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, hey, man, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of people there Saturday. It's going to be cold. I haven't looked at the forecast in terms of rain, this and that. And I feel like even if there's not a whole lot of people there Saturday, I feel like Oklahoma State fans have done their job for this program. I won't see any non-loyal and true if it's not a completely packed crowd Saturday. I will totally get that. It's a Thanksgiving weekend. The students aren't in. We just hired our coach. Everything's about next year. I would say this, even more so really than for the players. I'm going to show up to thank Doug Meacham. I'm going to show up to thank Cooper Bassett, Ryan Osborne, Kevin Johns, Clint Bowen. I'm going to show up to thank them for keeping this a class organization to the point to where Oklahoma State could get where they could move on like they did. That's why
I thought Doug's done a hell of a job. I mean, you talk about not having a prayer. Yeah. I mean, he was handed a horse with a bullet already in it.
He was,
and he's done a fantastic job. Sure, I'm sure he would have liked to got some wins out of the deal, but it didn't happen. And I don't know if it'll happen Saturday. I think Central Florida might have been our shot. Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm proud of Doug, and I don't know what is in store for him next, but I'm sure that he'll land on his feet somewhere.
I'll tell you what they did too. They took the Wendell Gregories, the Jacoby Sanders, the Rodney Fields. They took those guys, and I think they gave Oklahoma State a great chance to keep them. And I think it's a little bit deceptive. Of course, OSU hasn't won a game, so I understand the deception aspect of that. But there's way more good young players in this roster than I think Oklahoma State fans, like a LaDainian Fields, a guy like that really could be great college football players as we move on. And I think the job Doug Meacham, Clint Bowen, Kevin Johns, Cooper Bassett, guys like that did is that they gave Oklahoma State a fighting chance, if not the advantage, of keeping those good young players in the program. So then a guy like Eric Morris can just come in and fill in over the top of those guys. But he does at least have some kind of a base to start with.
I think so. Morris will have to, he's got to recruit the kids that are there now that he wants to keep. Mm-hmm. He has to recruit the high school kids and probably try to get back on some of the more ones that have decommitted and see if he can get some more of those back, and then have to recruit the portal. So, I mean, he's going to have his hands full the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people have stated. We stated it here, but that wasn't a secret, that we weren't reinventing the wheel when we made the statement that Oklahoma State has the investment in terms of money to be very competitive in the whatever level of college football there is this year. Now, do we have Alabama money, OU money? Probably not. But do we have the money to dominate the Big 12? Absolutely we do. Do we have enough money?
Even Texas Tech money?
Well, nobody's going to have Texas. I mean, Texas Tech is number 2 in the entire United States of America.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy.
Yeah. You're talking Alabama type money. I mean, top of the college football world. You know,
Right.
but beyond that, in that next tier of, you know, maybe say there's 8 to 10 schools that are going to always have more money than everybody else. We are going like Arkansas. I think we have a better package than Arkansas. So I think Oklahoma State could easily, with the offerings they have, Oklahoma State fans should expect this to be a top 20, top 25 program basically every year. I think that's the expectations that Coach Gundy set. I think Boone Pickens helped with that. Mike Holder helped with that. Chad Weiberg is continuing on with that. I don't see any reason why Oklahoma State can't be a top 20, top 25 program every year. With every special year when things work right, you make your run at the playoffs and see what you can do.
No, yeah. I agree. There's no reason we should be outside top 25. I agree.
Yeah. As far as the resource.
We have. It's unbelievable to say it now at my age at 63, but we have tradition now.
Yes.
You know, and that tradition is top 25 teams. I mean, how many Mike have in a row?
Yeah.
A whole bunch of them. I don't know the exact number, but close to 20, if not 20. A whole bunch of them. And we've got tradition now, and we don't need to fall outside that top 25. This year's an aberration. I mean, it just happened. You know, and I think, I don't want to get into that now, but I think we both know what happened. Yeah, I look forward to spring ball. Look forward to next year. Who's our first game with next year?
I know they play Tulsa and Oregon in the non-conference.
In the non-conference, and we got Oregon here this time.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
Let me look up the exact schedule. But as I do, I can tell you this: as the statements were made, and we made them, and a lot of other people made them. Again, I'm not trying to act like we're breaking any kind of news here. There were a lot of, especially older Oklahoma State fans, that basically called bullshit on the fact that hey, as soon as we move on from Gundy, we get a guy that energizes the fan base. There's plenty of money out there from the donor to compete in this NIL revenue sharing world. I think a lot of older Oklahoma State fans were very hesitant about that. Like, oh, well, I'll have to wait and see. I'm not quite sure about that. Well, here you go. I think it's pretty obvious now that Chad Weiberg's made the statement. He's doubled down on it. The guys like Greg McElroy have seen it now. Oklahoma State indeed does have the money. They just needed somebody that would energize the fan base to compete in this world. So I think even for the biggest of skeptics, which I understand, trust me, I understand. I'm on my 6th decade of being a diehard fan. I get your skepticism towards that. I think you need to move on and concede to the fact that the people that knew the money was there were right, and that now all we need to do is spend it in a way that actually produces results.
Sure, I agree 100%. I can't argue that point at all. The money is definitely there, and we knew it all along. We talked about it before. The money was there.
Okay, so the 2026 Oklahoma State football schedule. I know, have they released it yet? At Tulsa and Oregon, yeah, and then Murray State. Can you imagine if I'm Eric Morris and I'm at Tulsa, okay, and I have yes, at Tulsa, I win that game by 800 points. That's just me, but them coming on our field, being the game that got the legend Mike Gundy fired, and just kind of the way that, you know, I don't know, I thought their coach was kind of maybe douchebaggy about it, you know, in terms of like equals to OSU. Like, get the hell out of here. You haven't beaten OSU in Stillwater. This is the worst. This is a zombie team, okay? I mean, you didn't beat Oklahoma State. You beat a team that was a zombie team.
Right.
I just kind of thought that was douchey on his part. I would be all about going to Tulsa and just winning that game by 8,000 points.
So we got it. So we can go to Tulsa.
Yes.
And then we got Oregon at home and Murray State at home.
Yes. Absolutely. If it was Murray State in baseball, it might be a game, but I'm not sure about football.
Right. That's right. Or if they let Houston Nutt have the job back again.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah. Okay, so let me get into this, and because I know that you love Mike Gundy. Mike Gundy brought you back into the Oklahoma State world. He made you feel welcome as a former player back into Stillwater. So you will fight for Mike Gundy and his legacy tooth and nail till the cows come home, right? So for all those fans, yeah, no doubt. So for all those fans that maybe are like, well, I'm so pissed because of the way they did Mike Gundy that I'm not sure I can be an OSU football fan anymore. What's your message to them?
We'll get over it. It happened. It's done. It's not changing. He's not coming back. We go on, and be damn lucky we got who we got yesterday.
No doubt.
Let's support him. Let's support his staff. Let's support his players, and get Oklahoma State football back to where it needs to be.
Yeah,
that'd be my message. That simple.
Sounds like you were coached by Jimmy Johnson.
I think direct. I was.
Pretty direct.
Yeah. Yep.
He didn't beat around the bush, did he?
No, he was not. No, he did not do that at all.
What kind of coach would Jimmy Johnson be in college football nowadays? Would he be the worst coach ever in college football?
I don't think he'd do it.
Yeah.
I think there's a handful of those older coaches now in their 70s and 80s that if you were to ask them, how would you progress to get in this field the way it is now with the NIL and the revenue sharing and what have you? And I think a majority of them would say, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
If Bobby Bowden was still alive, he wouldn't do it. If Joe Paterno was still alive, he wouldn't do it. I don't think Jimmy would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure Pat would do it. I don't think he would either. Okay,
so help me, even me, and I was a staunch Gundy supporter. I thought he was an arrogant ass, but he was, like we said last night's show, he was my arrogant ass. He was Oklahoma State's arrogant ass, right? The way that he talked to the fans was just ridiculous. It just would make my blood boil. But when it came down to the end of the day, I was never on the bandwagon of, hey, we got to get rid of Coach Gundy. And then they do it in week 3. As a matter of fact, I was on record saying I thought they should have waited probably till about week 6, week 7. Having said that, I think even this kind of goes back to the loyal people to Coach Gundy, even people that were like, well, why in the hell? I mean, we haven't won a game since. Why, that being the case, why in the hell would you fire the best coach you're ever going to have after week 3 and embarrass him and do all that kind of stuff? I understand those people's stances. I get it. I'm just going to tell you this from a logistical perspective. Chad Weiberg had no other alternative because you saw these jobs open, right? Oklahoma State had to get a head start on finding the next guy. And if they would have waited until the end of the season to get rid of Mike Gundy, Eric Morris is already off the board, right? Alex Golesh is already off the board. Colin Klein might already – Oklahoma State would be going like on tier 5 of coaches if they had not done what they did when they did it. So was the timing fun for anybody? Was it a good look? No, but there was just no other alternative, Kevin.
No, I agree. I was a little disappointed at the time, but as time passed and you saw the reasoning, I think, and I might be wrong here, when Gundy was fired, there were only 2 jobs that had already, or 2 coaches already been fired. Of course, Stanford didn't have one coming back. They've got Frank Reich, who just said he was going to coach for 1 year, and I think UCLA fired their coach maybe that same weekend.
Yes, they did.
And then Gundy was next, and so that gave us a head start on the whole country into who we wanted, and the search committee could start doing their job. And you're right. It had to be done.
How impressed are you with Chad Weiberg? Isn't he awesome?
I can't argue with the coaches he's brought in yet. Like we talked about last time you had me on, JC, great coach. David Taylor, probably going to bring a national championship to Oklahoma State real soon.
Yeah. Steve Lutz. Doing good
Steve
things
Lutz got it turned around. I forgot about him. They're fun to watch, aren't they?
Yeah. Have you had any dealings with Chad? Do you know Chad at all?
I do not. I don't want to bring up bad memories, but didn't he have a brother that was on the plane?
Yes. Yeah, Jared.
Okay, I used to do some color commentary for the basketball team up at NOC in Tonkawa.
Oh, okay, yeah, his dad was the head coach.
Yeah, his dad was the head coach, and little brother played on that team.
Yeah. That was probably early 90s, right?
Feelings I have with the family.
Was that about early 90s?
That was when I had my restaurant, Fox City. I think it was probably late 90s.
Yeah, okay. What was your restaurant?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Oh, really?
It was called Godfrey's. Yeah, it was called Godfrey's. Why the hell we came up with that name, I don't know. There's a long story behind it, and I'm definitely not going to get into that on a public forum.
Yeah, I can tell you that the Weiberg family, I knew them in NOC as well, and they are absolutely first class. I mean, they are sports people through and through. They're good people. They love OSU. I I'm going overboard on it, but I could not be happier with Chad Whiteheart.
Good. Like I say, I don't know him. I'm just now learning a little bit more about him. And like I say, the only thing I've really got to go on are the coaching hires, and those cannot be argued.
Yeah.
Now, what about, I don't mean to change the subject here, but Coach Holliday, is his job safe?
His job is safe. He needs to make the College World Series to quiet people down, right? We had this. I called in Rex's show the other day and had this conversation. I don't think there's okay. So kind of my question here is, if you look at the success now, is anybody happy about not winning regionals? No. Josh being the least happy about that. Is anybody happy that we haven't made it to the College World Series since 2017? No. But there are times to where you have to take a step back and go, you know what? Beyond that, we've won a lot of games. And what is the alternative, right? I mean, so what is your alternative? What are you going to get at Oklahoma State that would produce more Big 12 championships, more regular season championships, guys that will host regionals because they've had great years? And the game of baseball, I'll just say this. You played baseball growing up too, Kevin, and it's kind of my deal. There's so many variables. Like the Dodgers, before they've won these World Series, they lost like to the Padres and the Diamondbacks and the Giants. I mean, it took them a long time to get into position for the ball to roll their way. There's so many different – I mean, like last year or 2 years ago at home with Florida, guy goes and makes a great catch, right? And then our guy goes and tries – Binge goes and tries to dive at one and misses one by about that far. And a couple pitches later, the guy hits a home run. That's not Josh Holliday's fault, right? So baseball, there's too many –
gods.
Right. So there's too many variables – based on the success Josh Holliday has had, for me to say that his job is on the line. But I will say it's going to get harder to defend against people that are critical of the ultimate goal, which is winning regionals and World Series, if it doesn't happen here in the next year or two. And it's just like whenever he made it in 2017, people were like, well, hey, I've kind of enjoyed the success he's brought, but we haven't made it to the World Series yet. Then he made it. It calmed things down for a while. He desperately needs that run this year. I'll say that.
Well, I thought that you were watching OState Daily's fall baseball preview shows and stuff. I think there's some talent there. You know, I know we only saw the best of everything, but it looked like there's some talent on the baseball field.
Yeah. There's a bunch. So what Josh has done is he's retained all the guys like a Brock Thompson, Noah Weck, and Ethan Lund, all the guys that he brought in last year that helped produce what they produced last year, which they made a good run towards the end. He was able to retain all them. He brought in a tremendous freshman class. You're going to love.
Look, that's what I guess. Maybe that's what I meant. Looked like the freshman class looks very talented.
Yeah, the pitching is awesome. The JUCO class with Evan Saunders and Parker Jennings isn't a JUCO, but he's from IMG. But the JUCO class with Evan Saunders and a couple of the pitchers that he brought in is nice. So again, he went and got an elite freshman class. He was able to retain the kids from last year, added some JUCO guys, and then a guy like Campbell Smithwick, who's a Division I transfer from Ole Miss, to fill in as far as at catcher goes. Brady Francisco's coming in from Yavapai, another JUCO guy. So it's the typical Josh Holliday. Get a great young class, keep the guys you have, add some JUCO guys and a couple of Division I transfers, and away we go. And we'll see.
Yeah, I'm ready for
it. Where are you at on it, Kevin?
Oklahoma State baseball is a good thing.
Yeah, so give us your true serum on where you're at with Josh.
Oh, I'm like you. I want to get back to the College World Series.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see the Gary Ward days again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's everybody does. It's a different landscape.
You're a lot closer to the program than I am. You have a lot better insight into that program than I do. I just want to get to College World Series again and host a regional.
100%.
God, they were fun when we hosted regionals back in the 80s.
Yeah, well, Josh did that 3 years in a row, right? We just lost. That's been part of the problem.
Maybe that's part of it. Yeah.
Well, hey man, this has been a lot of fun. I know Jay Cuddy, one of our awesome OSU Cowboys out there, mentioned how his wife was an alumni and it was so mad that she didn't go back to another game. And I get it. I understand it. I totally understand it. I just ask those people to, hey, I just say, just have a little bit of an open your mind just a little bit to understand the position that Oklahoma State was in. Give Oklahoma State the benefit of the doubt and give yourself the chance to enjoy Eric Morris the same way you enjoyed Mike Gundy. And then if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I get it. But
Right.
at least give the university a chance so we can move forward.
Got to be open-minded about it, And like I say, the fact that, he'll probably bring the Mestamaker kid with him.
Yeah.
Running back out of Shawnee will probably come with him. And he's already hit the high school recruiting trail. He hadn't even been in his office yet.
Yeah. What do you think about it? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What do you think about a guy that's actively coaching a team that's trying to make the playoffs and win a national title? We're not talking about going to a bowl game. I get it.
Not right, no, exactly. Yeah.
What do you think about a guy trying to juggle that with upstarting another program all at the same time?
Right.
That's a weird deal.
It's tough. Good thing he's only 40. Hate to do it at our age.
It is a young man's sport. Do you like that, though?
It's a young man's
I mean,
sport.
should Oklahoma State have told him, no, you got to come to OSU now, or should North Texas have said either you're in or out? I mean, what would you do if you were either place?
I don't know. I would have liked to have been a fly on that wall. I don't know how that went down. I don't know how I would handle that situation on either side.
Yeah. I know if I'm Oklahoma State, I'm good with it. So I'm good. So he's going to send he's going to get everything in place. He's going to send his GM over here. They're going to get started on the recruiting trail.
Right.
He's going to be the guy that closes the deal, maybe makes a phone call. So I don't see any problem with it. I don't think the time that it's going to take for him to do what he needs to do at Oklahoma State. He has enough people around him that'll handle that. I don't think it'll take away from UNT at all. And I'll say this, I'm a big Mean Green fan. I want them to go win the national title.
Me too. And this might be a one-shot deal for UNT. This might be their one time to have a shot at it. Of course, they got to get in the playoffs first.
They do. They got to be, I think, Temple on Friday. And, hey, if you want to watch your new coach, Eric Morris, and your hopefully new quarterback, Mestamaker, and your new system and all that, if you want to see it in action, I think it's 2:30 on Friday where UNT plays Temple, and so you can check them out then. So,
right. Hey, absolutely. We will
Kevin,
do it.
It's always great to see your face. You are dear and special to me, and so thank you so much for joining. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to button up that we didn't cover here today?
Not really. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays to all the Oklahoma State fans out there. Please tell your folks hello, and we'll talk again after the new year.
Thank you, Kevin.
All righty. Have a good one. Bye-bye.